Recorded April 21st, 2025. Good afternoon, Brody. Go Jets, go. And good afternoon, Rod. 10:36. How are you doing? Brody, how you doing?
Guess what?
Oh, well, good afternoon, Ray.
Hi. How's it going?
Take a breath. We'll go to you last. We'll let you gather your power.
You can do your face palm last.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, that's official movement of the show. Just we gotta get t-shirts like this. All right. Brody.
Wait, yes.
Edward.
Man?
How you doing, bud?
I'm all right. I'm loving the jersey. I'm surprised you don't have the big C on there as captain. So tell me, what's the occasion with the oversized pajamas? What do you got going on?
It's game day, bud. Winnipeg Jets play again tonight against St. Louis. Game 2.
Uh-oh.
NHL playoffs, bud.
Who's up 1-0 tonight? Who's up 1-0?
The Jets are.
The Jets are.
Of course, yeah. Do you switch jerseys just based on who wins?
I do not.
No.
I only own one jersey.
He's a fan.
Well, one team's jersey.
Okay.
Because,
the one change of clothes. Yeah.
The Maple Leafs have the Senators coming up. Yes.
They played the Sens yesterday and they won.
Yeah. Maple Leafs up 2-0.
1-0.
1-0. Okay.
That's their name, actually, the Maple Leafs?
Toronto Maple Leafs.
That's very sweet.
It's syrup.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else, Brody? Go ahead and give me some work stuff, man. How you guys been doing? It seems like everybody's a little bit reserved. You have a good weekend. I know Friday was a semi-holiday of sorts to those who wanted to take Good Friday, but a third of the people took it off. A third of the people didn't. A third took a half day, like a floating holiday, and the other 1% nobody knows. So you're just having fun with your little gadget, Rod. Okay. So, Brody, what'd you do, man? What'd you do interesting last week?
For work? Interesting. We are deep in design document finalization for our primary project, which is Azure landing zones, management groups, Azure policies, etc. And that's going to be the focus of my week this week. A lot of living in Microsoft Word. Should be great.
All right. I'll go to Ray. No, I guess I'll wait for Ray to go last.
Yeah. Ray, do you want to go next? Let's draw straws.
Yeah, well, it's fine. I'll go. Like I had a wonderful week with my daughter. She had off of school. She was on spring break. We stayed local. And then, the family pet passed away over the weekend. So that was a bummer, to say the least. Life is life. And this week, you're back in fighting form. So lots of everything to catch up on. And I try to, be engaged even when I'm out of office, just to prevent the whiplash of the tsunami of here, there, and everywhere where you're required. But these are ultimately good problems to have. Just got off a call with one of our MISA partners. Again, shout out to Blue Boy. It's amazing. And then we have another partner who reached out when I was out of office. So Quorum Cyber and Ricky and team, I have to follow up there. So lots of amazing stuff happening in the Defender Experts world with our MISA ecosystem and customers who have very specific, unique niche situations, and solutioning for them or thinking through what different options they might have based on their security program needs in a way that's it's a little bit more bespoke versus, hey, we're like, what, tell me about your first party MXDR. It's like, hey, help us figure out how to coexist with a third party vendor, because we want to go with Microsoft ultimately, but we have to handle this legacy solution for this period of runway. So help us figure that out. And that's super interesting stuff. So all good. Life has been lifing, but life goes on, and that's a privilege for it to go on. So, all good as it can be.
Comprehensive update, Ray. Thank you for sharing.
Try to be thoughtful.
Well, it's always sad to lose a pet, though. You don't. Yeah, a lot of people don't think about that too often, but Ray, it actually made me think about my dog, who she's like a constant forever puppy. She just has always acted like a little puppy, because she's little strange in the head anyway. And but just lately, she can't move around. She's stiff, and you can tell she's getting older in that way. So that is super sad. You don't ever really count on those things being like that. So I guess it is kind of my turn. I really wanted to share something about the show and something we have that's going on here at Microsoft here shortly. I actually caught this today. Let's go ahead and share this if we can. All right, you see this out on our website. So if you go to MicrosoftSecurityInsights.com, there's a post today, and hopefully you can see this. Everybody loves, of course, KQL or Kusto, but everybody also that has participated in this has loved the detective agency, and it is back. And it's not actually a season this time, it's an event. So it's not like, season, I guess they were up to like season 4 or 5, something like that. But on June 8th, this kicks off. It's actually called Cyber Duty Rules. So it's an event where you can actually build a team, and they give you the scenario, and then you go try to solve whatever this thing is and save the world. But in doing so, we have created our own MSI show team. And if you go out to this website, I'll also include it in the show notes, but also in our live event here in just a second. But if you click on this link, you can actually join our team. Why would you want to do that, you might ask? Well, there is a $10,000 reward, and we could all split it. If there's 10,000 people that participate, we all get $1. So that's pretty cool.
American dollars?
Yes. So I think it's like 50 cents is what we get now. So yeah,
that's big time money.
It is. So that's actually pretty cool. So a big event this time. And if you go out to the website, I've also included the YouTube promo video, which that by itself is actually worth the price of admission going to our website to watching that, because they did a really good job announcing it this time as well. So you might want to check that out.
I saw the promo video earlier today when you posted this in our chat.
10,000 smackers.
$10,000. You know what we could do with that? We could buy each of us new pets.
Yes, that is
so bad. I can do it with both hands.
Also therapy. It would be, you can buy some therapy.
Yeah. Well, you go to therapy.
That's right. Now you combine them together, and I like this is big brain thinking, Rod.
Well, I'm just trying to cut it and make it more efficient. You pay for therapy. You know what they're going to tell you? Get a pet.
Yeah, it's like you break up with somebody, you just start dating somebody else. I don't know where I would be without this wisdom.
Rod, I was on something. I was listening to something. Wait, don't tell me. It was saying that research has shown that having a pet gives the same emotional benefit as being married. So get a pet.
I think there's some extra value to being married.
I'm sure
a lot of jokes there.
I'm sure going into it to me as a pet. Yeah. There you go. Noodle said I'll donate a dog for free. All right. Well, let's get some signups on that team. Yeah. I have a notion, but I'll keep it to myself and get folks' ideas. So
is it just one day?
It's an ongoing thing. So I think you do have a time limit though. What is the time limit? I'll have to go look at that. Yeah, talk amongst yourselves while I check this out. I forget what it was.
So that Rod guy, blah blah blah.
42 hours. 42 hours at when it launches. You have 42 hours to solve the mystery.
I know that.
Thank you, Rod.
Yeah, thank you for that. So my update. I don't have the link. Someone sent it to me in phone, text, but it looks as though, and if someone can find it and throw it in the chat, that Microsoft made a change in Entra that if whatever rules that are embedded or maybe out of the box believes that your password has been leaked, it locked your account out. So when I read it, I go, oh, that's what happened to some of the accounts in my tenant this weekend. And it gave a lot of alerts as though it was leaked credentials, right? So I got a leaked credential alert across 4 accounts in my my private tenant / production environment, and it absolutely did, and so when that article came out, maybe it was dated before we realized what was happening on yesterday. That may be it. My apologies for not having it. I'll have it in the show notes when we do it. But I thought that was pretty interesting too. I did get to do some work and actually put some real time to this, which is why I spent more time on this than the actual core things I did. I set up Sentinel and used Microsoft Fabric as a secondary repository for the storage using KQL folders. It's not that hard, actually. The way you forward the data out, either in Event Hub or continuous export. But I'm going to run it through it again, and maybe I'll record it, or maybe we're doing tech heavy for our guests. Fairness is that maybe a month the 4 of us have to do a tech heavy, where we all demo one thing, right? Or we do 2 shows. Everybody spends 30 minutes to show something toward the back end of the year when it starts to get slow. So I actually finished the project. I know Noodle's laughing like, really, but yeah, I actually started and I went through it. It's interesting. It doesn't solve anything. All you're doing is just changing where you put the non-critical or non-hunting, operations related data. Think log analytics, primary log analytics workspace for Sentinel. And instead of putting, not necessary high fidelity security logs, firewall logs, NetFlow, maybe some identity logs that may only just register, successful authentication. That Entra does that pretty well. So instead of putting it in ADX or Data Explorer, now you're choosing to put it inside of one lake, right? So Microsoft Data Lake. And it took me about 3 times to run through it. And it's pretty straightforward. You can actually run queries against it, KQL queries against it. So that's another thing. So I want to run through it again, and maybe I'll record it, take a look at it, and we'll see. You can also split data using Cribble in the same way that you would do with the other aux logs, Bixit logs, interactive logs, and things like that. So it was pretty straightforward. A lot of terms. You got to be a data scientist, got to get some of the things they were trying to get. So I kept a thing up with Learn to say, okay, what does that mean? But basically, data lake, Power BI. Now you can run Power BI on top of it, right? And it's pretty straightforward. So articles are coming out. People are actually doing it. Saw it in the wild, heard people ask about it, and never done it. Gave it a shot. Started on Friday and finished up yesterday. This
Power BI thing might catch on.
It is, unfortunately, it's another topic that will be related to it. I cannot talk about it just yet, right? What I ammed you about earlier.
Yeah,
we'll talk about it when we can talk about it, and I want to get the public squared away with it. But
we'll talk about it when you can talk about it.
Yeah, the stuff I don't want to talk about, what I want to talk about, but I can't talk about. So there you go.
I'm glad you told everybody what you couldn't talk about on the show where you talk about things.
Bro, I love it. I love it. We speak in Rumspelly.
So Ray, you and I are on the hook now. Time is running out. You and I are going to be the executive show hosts, show sponsors for certification month. So we need to figure that out. July is already taken. What do we take July?
Ray, are you on top of this, Ray?
Well, we're doing
I'm
it
all
all.
around it. I'm on the. I'm up above.
You signed action items up in the center here, ad hoc by Edward.
Ray is like, I'm on the inside looking in. I have no
Yeah.
idea what's going on. I'm on the inside looking in.
The call
That's
is
it.
coming from inside of the house at this
Yes.
point.
We'll get it down, Ray. So to all our listeners, we did promise
Yeah, Ray.
certification month, aka Show Us Your Certs.
Mhm.
I think it's probably August.
Yeah,
September.
Ray's just got to pick a month already, and then we can start to get the news out. So Ray, if we could get that accelerated, that'd be great.
We have 2 shows slotted for August already.
You see, Ray, you're too late.
Oh
could have
gosh,
August.
darn it!
Yeah,
Oh Lord! All
September.
right.
Ray.
September would be good. We can get it. Just so
Why not
here's how you do it.
October?
Here's
We
how we do
gotta.
it.
We gotta wait.
Ray, we gotta book another call. Let's have an offline about
We
this.
gotta.
offline
We'll
conversation.
circle back on this
Let's
and
just circle
follow
back.
up. Yeah,
Okay.
let's synergize. Have a
Ray,
meeting.
Ray and I will handle it. You two curmudgeons go do what curmudgeons do. We got this right here.
Curmudgeon.
I don't know what word he used there, but
I just made up
I thought it
munchins.
was like manja. I thought it was like
Good one.
Italian, like to eat. I was like, what are they?
You
Curmudgeon.
curmudgeon. All right.
Curmudgeon.
But we do have a guest is in our green room eating up all of our snacks, drinking up all our NoCo energy drinks.
new sponsor.
Finished it with that one. Now it's just Icelandic.
Nice.
Shit, another one. So
Hi there.
hello, Linda. First of all, I want to say thank you. You did not put me on the spot by putting your last name on the screen, which everybody on this show would have been, compelled me to try to pronounce. So thank you for not embarrassing me and me.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Rod, your guest. You want to do the honors?
Well, I think she's the guest of everyone now since she's on screen. So no, but I'll let Linda introduce herself. Her and I met for the first time at Experts Live in Copenhagen. Just, I don't know, was it like 6 weeks now? Something like that, Linda?
Wow.
6 weeks, maybe
Yeah, I
2
think
months,
so.
something like that. Anyway, Linda is amazing. I think she has a really good story to tell, particularly from her nickname, and I guess she'll tell us about that as we go along. Icelandic Cloud Queen. She actually is from Iceland.
Really?
It's not actually.
And I
too
am a
late.
queen.
Yeah, I was gonna. And she knows about the cloud, I bet too.
So yeah, we do have royalty on the show. So I don't.
Your Highness.
So Linda, if you would like to introduce yourself, tell us who you are, what you do, what you have done. Tell us about where you work, which I think it's a super cool story in itself. And then it is Tech Heavy Month. I think we're gonna talk about maybe securing 365 Copilot or something like that. I think so.
Yeah. Thank you. No pressure. No, kidding. But yeah, my name is Linda, and I've been in IT for 10 years. I studied system admin, so I started on the help desk and worked my way up. But been a Microsoft fan from day one, I guess. And well, in Iceland you have to have like a lot of hats, different hats. So I've been working in all different areas. I just have to do whatever is needed, really. And the newest thing is, of course, Copilot. There's not that much competition at the moment, so it's nice. So I could get all the attention. But yeah, I work at Orgo in Iceland. I'm a cybersecurity and solution architect. I'm the one that's been leading a team of a group of guys that are creating security as a managed service. So we are like an MSP company with more. But yeah, that's a little bit. But Icelandic Cloud Queen is just a nickname for me because I have my own website and blog and such. And I actually used AI to come up with a few ideas for me for it. And that was one of it.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Hey, you
so-
don't need to be the printer queen anymore since you don't work help desk frontline anymore, right, Linda?
Mm,
I had to work
yeah.
that job too. No more printers. Now we can work in the cloud. It's way more fun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No more printers. Oh, that's
So
the best.
you say you still wear multiple. I'm sure the hats are warm, but you say you still wear multiple hats. So you started 10 years ago in IT. Do you still kind of do IT stuff and add the security, or are you focused more on the security piece and you still kind of do IT stuff?
I do a lot of stuff, but I'm both technical and business side. So I'm developing a product, of course, and I'm doing all that aspect, from marketing, selling to just everything, research, and then I'm actually doing the things and implementing it. But it's not just about security. I've started focusing on security like 3 years ago, I think.
3 years.
But I've been also like, if there's a problem or something, I just have to fix it. So I know a lot of things about like Teams as a phone system, and just everything, like SharePoint, just all of it. So it's hard. It's hard to like say I'm just in this. It's not like that. I just know a lot of shit. Oh, sorry, a lot of things.
Linda, that's the
think it
first time anyone has sworn on our show. Congratulations.
No.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Really?
Yeah.
I hope not.
I think that means something different in Icelandic.
Yeah, it's actually sheets.
Yeah, it means something
Sheets,
totally different. So 3 years in cybersecurity. So when I met you, obviously you were talking about the security pieces, right, at Experts Live. I think you also shared a story with me I thought would be kind of interesting for our audience. The number of volcanoes that you have around where you actually work and how that actually impacts your work.
Well, it's almost monthly basis right now. So we have it like on a subscription level. No, I'm kidding, but it's not dangerous for us in the capital. But there is a whole town that had to evacuate, and there's just few people living there right now. It's actually funny because it's always as exciting when it starts. So like we don't get used to it, but we always think it's fun and exciting. But it affects us in a way. For example, we have like a data center close to it, so we always have to have like a backup plan, or like just a plan how to get the data if something happens, like horrible things happens. But yeah, it's
Cool.
Well, I just can't imagine. So you talk about being an IT pro, wearing these many hats, these different things that you do, but I don't think anyone listening into the show right now thinks as part of their daily life that, okay, so we have to figure out how to mitigate a volcano or eruptions from a volcano, considering that apparently the volcanoes are consumption based. Description, right? But still, think about that. I mean, what's the worst thing most people listening into the show think about from their daily job, the things that they do? One of them's probably not having some kind of
I don't see it as a problem.
just for volcanoes.
I don't see it as a problem at all. I mean, I see it as an opportunity to use geothermal energy to power your data center.
We do that.
Oh,
actually.
you do? Oh.
Yeah, we do. I'm trying to tell Microsoft, come to Iceland. It's going to be cheaper for you guys. It's going to be nice for us.
Because Microsoft is building data centers. They just finished one up not too far from my house. Well, relatively speaking. So the data center bill is going on. If they're not building data centers, they're buying nuclear power plants and doing it that way, right?
Unless you have volcano power.
Volcano power. That's a marketing right there. Volcano power.
But like another thing that we have to figure out is we have to have a backups locally, because we have 3 C strings, I think, and if one accidentally breaks again, or all of them, then we're not in touch with the rest of the world, or just through satellites. So we have to also have backups on the island, because we of course live in an island. So that's another thing. So Microsoft data center would be nice.
Let me ask a question.
Out there.
One day. Those
before
pesky
we-
undersea cables, they keep cutting themselves these days, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know it's horrible, like accidentally.
Yeah.
accidentally, I'll leave it at that. People couldn't cable. Let me ask a question, because you hear about these data center bills, and we'll get back into the topic because I really want to hear how you go about securing M365 Copilot.
Hmm.
When you're building data centers over there, with the climate, and if I'm wrong, let me know, has a relatively long span of cool months. Does that factor into the data center bill, as some of these places say, where you don't need as much man-inspired cooling, just the ambient air and the ambient climate helps cool the data centers, and that saves money?
Hmm.
It does.
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah.
Because you hear it and they tout this, oh, we built a data center, it's going to be in a cool place, we reduced the amount of carbon footprint because we use ambient air, but it sounds like it's a real thing.
Mhm.
Okay, very
Yeah.
cool.
And we have it also in a secure location. We have learned from our mistakes, so it's more inside the country, not close to. We have to have like our research before, like what's the likelihood of a volcano erupting close to it. So we build our data centers from having that aspect.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you one of the many countries that have to do that. I was in Japan. All their data
Mhm.
centers built on the premise of an earthquake is going to happen. It's not
Mhm.
if, it's just when it's going to happen, right? So
Yeah.
M365 Copilot, it is
Mhm.
everywhere. There's just
Yep.
like the creeping army ants all over, and you got the security ants. First of all, can M365 Copilot be secure when you just give it to the masses? How do you go about securing something that you just given to everybody?
Okay. Yeah, that's a good question. I'm going to share my screen if it's okay.
That's
Oh,
allowed.
So share screen. It's my first time using this
Well, volcano is lagging right now. It's okay.
one.
No, she's got
Like this one.
it. Yeah, you
There
got
it
it.
is.
Thanks, Linda.
Awesome. So
Move use people. Can see.
this is actually the front slide from my lecture in Copenhagen. Copenhagen, sorry, said in Danish. But yeah, I had the lecture about from preparation to deployment, securing Microsoft 365 Copilot for your customers. And this is also something that I am going to different kinds of companies here in Iceland with and helping them with it. And I always introduce myself. Like the first thing I do is I introduce sorry, it's here, like Linda Who. And that's also because you have to let them know why they should listen to me. This is all my experiences, like how to do it the best way possible. And like when we're talking about securing your environment for Microsoft 365 Copilot, it's also about people management. It's not just about securing the environment itself. It's also about, managing the people behind it. So it's not just the environment, it's also the employees. So first of all, I introduce myself and tell them that I've been in system admin for 10 years and I run the Microsoft 365 user group in Iceland, that I'm obsessed with Microsoft and that I don't have one role, I'm just a problem solver. And my newest obsession is Microsoft Copilot. Why Copilot? So many problems to solve. And that's actually the reason why I went into it. I just offered my assistant with it. I just claimed it, really. I just do what I want to do. So I decided to master it. And that was because we have like the regular customer coming to us asking for one Copilot. And I'm the techie, so I'm like, which one, for what, for whom? Are you ready? Is the environment ready? But the average salesperson is just, yeah, here you go. And then afterwards, the customer comes to me and it's just like completely mad. So by fixing this problem, I'm also fixing my problem of dealing with the customers. So that's why I decided to figure out how to help my customers getting ready for and securely deploy Microsoft 365 Copilot. And I always do this, like having a little bit of humor, it's the customer here, as you can see. I love that. and without making them feel like they're being robbed, because that's also a big problem in Iceland. They don't want to invest any money in anything. So we have to also convince them to actually spend their money. So securing Microsoft 365 Copilot for your customers. And you just stop me. You can always stop and just talk. If there's something you would like to add, just to say it. But yeah, you need to get the customers on board and make the case for security. And you do that by telling them the danger. By enabling Microsoft 365 Copilot, you might give your employees easier access to sensitive data. And the reason why I say that is because, the GDPR came and they're like, yeah, we'll do something about it. And then this 2 came, is like, oh, now you're responsible for it personally. And then they're like, still not going to spend any money on it, like just gonna ignore it for a little bit. But then Copilot came, and it's like it changed everything in Iceland, because then, so my employees might see something that I'm keeping away from them, and then all of a sudden they want to actually invest their money in it. It's funny. So how I do that is, first of all, like when we are selling Copilot license, then I always try to have the salesperson to sell them also like a 1 hour session with me, just technical and informational session, and they pay for it. And there I teach them what is like traditional AI versus generative AI. And by doing that, it's just because like they have to figure out like what is the AI, because everybody's so scared of it, and you have to remove that fear of AI, because AI have been for decades, but it's the generative AI that's new. So you have to explain how it works. You have to explain how large language model works, that it's learning from the data. And I explained it really good to them and have it like pretty simple, like saying that it's like a little child that's, you have an infant, and then you start like just you don't teach it to talk, but it's just observing. And then when it has been observing for a long time, then they start to figure out what you're saying, and they start to actually speak. So that's how it works. And then you also tell them that there's also people behind it. So there are people training the LLM, testing it, telling it what it can and showing what it can't. So they know also that it's just not the computer taking over the world, really. And then you tell them about what is Microsoft Copilot, because they always ask for one Copilot. It's really funny. But I'm like, okay, which one? There's so many. So you also teach them just the different kinds of Microsoft 365, just Copilot. And I love to do it like this, and then just say it's just very simple. Microsoft plus AI equals Copilot. So Copilot is just the umbrella name for all the AI solutions they have. And then you teach them how it works, like how it's built on the data, because there, Copilot has the advantage over ChatGPT that it's in your environment. So I also said, like, it's the selling point. Like, it doesn't, and Icelandic people, they do think about that. They do think about where the data is. So they love it that it's just inside your own environment. And I also talk about, of course, how Microsoft Graph, how it uses Graph to figure out if you have actually access to it or not. So it's always depending on which access you have, what results you're going to have. It goes with that. And then I also tell them, like, use Copilot for your work and use ChatGPT for your personal stuff as your therapist. For you, Ray.
No, I think that's a solid use case. Yeah, Copilot. We've yet to release a Copilot for therapeutic purposes, but that's a noodle on that one, I think.
Yeah. Well, I had to figure out the hard way. Like I started to use Copilot as soon as it came out over a year ago, and I was like, okay, so if I had a beef with someone in my job, I was like, so what has that person been working on lately? And then I figured out that
you were like doing surveillance with you were like, tell me more about this.
yes.
I like how your mind works, Linda. I want to hear more about this. We need another presentation. You're going to come back and it's going to be more Machiavellian, and we're going to do it. I've decided.
Yep. So I figured out, okay, sheets. The admins can actually see what I'm asking the Copilot. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll not use it for that anymore.
You just didn't want to be redundant. You were like, I just want to make sure, I'm not duplicating the effort here. That's it.
I'm just testing it. And then I just decided to go into that group. So now I'm the admin, right? Nice. So I can force delete it, purge it. But yeah, also just go over how it works, how it complies with the sensitive labels, for example, and TLP and such. And then you tell them, because you've been teaching them all of this stuff, and then you tell them, like, no worries, we know what you need to do, because it can be a little bit overwhelming. So you give them the recipe. Like I've created just my own recipe. It's partially from like the blueprint that Microsoft have given out about the oversharing, but also just from my own experience, I've changed it a little bit, and also from just what is included in which licenses. And it's also because there's a lot of cool stuff that you can do, but some of it actually needs you to be paying as a pay-as-you-go, for example, subscription. And so I just start with very simple things like what is already included, and then you can build on top of that. Just first show them how it works and that it is working nicely, and then they can add on top of that. I have demo later on for you guys.
Oh, cool. Hey, yeah, there is one before you move on. There is one question we have from one of our listeners, the audience member here. I think it more and more around. So you're telling customers how this works. Obviously, you're kind of building the trust around Copilot. Have you experienced this issue where you have a lot of organizations that are still kind of afraid, and they tend to kind of block generative AI sources or tools, even Copilot in some respects, I guess.
So I also see people multi-prompting. Yeah. So the challenges that we have is that I always tell the the key the CEOs, those that are in charge. I tell them that your employees are going to use AI. That's just how it is. So they're going to figure out ways to do it. So you need to figure out how are you going to do it. Which playground are you going to make safe for your employees? So, and I also just show them sometimes which, like, because you can see it actually, which AI solutions they're already using through the admin center. So I sometimes do that. But what I can see that the customers are doing, like some are trying to blocking it, but it actually requires a lot of stuff. Like, for example, like you have to have inbuilt in the browser. So it's like you can't like block it completely, everything. So you have to have all kinds of security policies, and they're not there yet. Like most of the companies in Iceland right now is just starting to implement Purview. So they have not been blocking it before, and they're not completely blocking it, but they are providing training for their customers, how to use AI, how to use it securely, like what you should be aware of. So it's like what do you call it, enlightenment or something like that they're investing the money in. But yeah, okay. The question was which problems, right? What are the
just
challenges?
some of the
Yeah.
challenges around them using, right? Then there was that question around prompting, which we don't have to talk about, and we've talked about prompting before. We can provide some additional resources for that. But yeah, just some of the challenges you found with customers using generative AI.
Yeah, well, they don't know where their data is, and I'm going to talk about that. But they do not know where their data is, and they do not know how the employees are using the data and how the data flow is and the workflow is. So the problems that they are experiencing is data leakage, or that accidentally oversharing something. So that's what we are actually experiencing. And also they are, they're scared. A lot of customers are scared. And for example, if they're using Outlook and it comes like from the insights, like here's a recommendation which document you could attach or could be relevant to this meeting or such, and then they just think that it's already shared with everyone. Like there's a lot of fear going on. So that's one of the things that we are experiencing, and also just like time, because it's evolving so fast.
Yes.
So it's also like we're already behind, and everybody's just trying to run forward to address all this. Yes.
In regards to the fear, of using it, and and the stakeholders and the data custodians, if your knee-jerk reaction is to block it, or you're making your end users become more innovative to get around your blockage. Now you introduce a new subset of behaviors where you take something away, especially when you don't know if this person has personally become more effective, efficient, and everything in this. All of a sudden you block it. Now they're installing VPNs, in your corporate environment and trying to do things to be able to get access to these tools that they want, right? Rather than blocking it, use a tool, use a SASE solution. That's most SaaS solutions now include IT shadow discovery, CASB solutions like Microsoft Defender for cloud apps, and you can just look at behavior of the users, look at what they are using by looking at Defender for cloud apps and see what's going on in your environment, rather than just arbitrarily blocking it, and then use some of the things that monitor but don't block, and just pop up a warning sign. Hey, we are monitoring the use of this application. You will be permitted to use it. However, blah, 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 blah. And then you see if the adoption is really true. These people need this. They'll keep it, or they'll go away and start using something else. But blocking something is the easiest way to get someone to go do it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also see that if you tell employees that you're already working on this, like you are going through a 4 months of proof of concept, and you're figuring out how to provide to employees some AI solution, then the employees actually get more calm, and they are then more patient, I would say, to for you to actually finish and implementing it. So then they don't go and run around and try to find whatever solution that they can find online. But yeah, in Iceland, I would say though that like we have such a big competition because we're such a small market, and we know that we just need to start using AI, because if you don't, you are behind in the competition area. So that's also like pretty cool. Pretty cool thing about living in Iceland, I guess. We are going to use it, and everyone's using it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Okay, I think we've answered that one. Let's carry on. I'm looking forward to getting to these demos.
Awesome. So what I have done is that I provide like 3 different steps. You need to secure, train, and strategize. Usually I have the train when I'm going to the the customer, I have the train first, because they always ask me why train first, and that's because otherwise you don't get the CEO to invest money in it. Like, you have to first train how it works and why the security is necessary, and then you can actually invest money into securing the environment. But yeah, it's the secure train strategize. Copilot is only as good as the data. That's the first thing that I go over, and that's because if the data is trash, you have to excuse my language. Like, I'm so Icelandic, sorry. We don't have any filter here.
Trash means something else in Icelandic too. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Garbage in, garbage out. We love it. You
Exactly.
got it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So the first thing you have to do is know your data, clean up your data, and protect your data. That's like the three things that you have to do. Know your data, like which data do you work with, where does the data live, how is the data workflow, like how are you like working with it, because many people have like third-party solutions for storing their documentations, but they're working with them in Office 365 or in the Microsoft 365. So they're working with it in the Microsoft environment, but then they're exporting it. So they think actually they don't need to implement any security in the Microsoft environment because it's stored in the other solution. So that's few things that you have to go with them through. And it is a big problem because many people have just like I was the one migrating a lot of companies up to the cloud. So I know that a lot of it was not, or like it was not planned very good. Like, you're just putting stuff up there, like, because like you're just putting everything in SharePoint. You were not that much thinking about how it's structured, and we don't have many SharePoint experts in Iceland, so you're just putting everything up there. And then now we're facing that, like, oh, we are actually accidentally oversharing something because nobody was looking for it. It was just there. So, but Copilot doesn't care if you should or should not have access to it. It just gives you the access if you have it, access. And then you have to figure out which data needs to be protected, like which kind of data do you have that is if it's part of a regulation that you have to comply with, or if it's just like for GDPR or just something very important for the business. And then you have to clean up your data, and that's a big problem also. Like, I even have that problem myself. Like, I have tons of duplicates files. Like, I just like copy off this one and then I write a new one, but then it's not as efficient, the Copilot. So I'm actually like looking into how I can create like a sensitivity label that it has just like drafts or something. It's called drafts. And then you just can exclude that one then it's easier also for the customers or the employees to clean up the data, because it's such a hard, like they think it's so difficult to throw something away. So they just don't want to. So if they can put a draft label on it, then it's easier, could solve it.
Good plan. Yeah, retention and deletion. Nobody likes to delete anything, but you're liable for everything that you don't delete. So
Yeah.
It's kind of a catch-22.
Exactly. And then, organize folders and sites, because it's just, there's tons of learning stuff on the internet that teach you how to name your files and your SharePoint sites and everything, so that Copilot has easier access to it, or easier figuring out what you're actually trying to ask it about. And then automate clean up the retention policies. I'm gonna go through that, but like putting to auto archive, for example, SharePoint sites that hasn't been used, or team sites that hasn't been used for 6 months, etc. Like, there's different kinds of rules that you can put on. So also, like, another thing that I'm experiencing now is that before, like, a lot of companies have restricted that anyone can create a team site or group, just to, so it's not tons of teams sites available. But now with Viva Engage, like there's so many companies going into Viva Engage, and if you should be able to create a communication site, then you have to be able to create a Microsoft 365 group. So then they're opening up for it now, but then they have to like implement rules, for example, that all team sites have to have an owner, and that it get automatically archived if it's nobody has been using it for 6 months. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, I'm talking about Viva and Gates now. Like,
I know.
yes, and
Who
I
wants
have
to talk
to
about that?
know everything. And then review permission and limit unnecessary sharing. That's also another thing that I can go through. And then protect your data. Define data retention policies. Decide what to keep it for how long. Like if you have to keep it for 7 years. And you have to classify documents, label sensitivity information. And I try to have it as simple as possible in the beginning. And then you have to apply protection rules, like prevent unauthorized access. You can use that. And then implement data loss prevention policies for Copilot. I actually put it for Copilot because I'm going to see it in the demo. It's a new feature.
Yeah.
I have a question real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
Rob.
Oh, no, go. I was just gonna. Yeah.
We've been talking about this, and we actually having a month that's coming up where we dedicate ourselves to looking at, purview. But before I look into it, I start to see how massive this initiative is at Microsoft. I mean, and I do mean massive. Are you finding now that you are the M365 security and expert around M365 Copilot expert, that you're starting to find yourself having to sort of dovetail over and start doing some more purview stuff as part of it? Because it seems like that's going to be the governing mechanism for M365 Copilot.
Yeah. Well, it's a funny thing because usually when you say that you're not going to go and work with something, then you end up with doing it. For example, with Yammer, I was in the Microsoft office. I was like telling them like we Icelandic people are never going to use Yammer, and then here we are, Viva Engage. So with Purview, like nobody had interest in it really because nobody was using it or investing money in it. But now with Copilot, it has changed, and it is necessary to know it.
Yeah.
So it's
Well, it's amazing how technology changes and evolves to the point sometimes where you have to go back and review those things that you thought you should have taken care of already. Because this is this is literally. I love these slides, and for those listening in, we should probably provide at least these specific protect your data slides for folks, because I love these bullet points because this is everything. This is super important because we're going back to data security, which we should have been doing for the past 20 years, but there was nothing really to force us to do it but now because of generative AI, and we know that, without data, without good data sources, generative AI just simply doesn't work.
Exactly. But I can provide you with the slides, of course.
Cool.
Of course. And then try to automate as much as possible because you can't do it all, and so you have to use the AI to actually work with AI and implement security around AI. So try to automate as much as possible. We're already lacking technicians, so it's like it would be beneficial for everyone. But there comes also the cost. Like if you're going to, there's so many things that you have to pay extra for. But it's also funny because, like in Iceland, there's so much thinking about just what's included, and they don't want to pay extra. But I think, like soon, we just have to stop thinking of it like that. I think like Microsoft is heading just in a direction that it's just pay-as-you-go service. So I think there has to be some kind of mind shift there. All right.
Yeah, I'm noticing a lot of services moving to pay-as-you-go. The new, it's the investigations feature in Purview. I don't have the exact name in front of me. That's pay-as-you-go service. Yeah, because everything's leveraging Security Copilot on the back end, and then that's SCU. So you got to have SCUs no matter what. It's smart. It's a smart way to continue to get consumption from customers, and it makes sense. It's just not the standard like E5 model
Mhm.
anymore, right? It's changing to that pay-as-you-go model with all these AI features. It's interesting pivot.
Yeah, it's also like what I could like recommend is that when we're designing these solutions, think about how we are going to make people pay for it, because I think that's a little bit lacking sometimes. That when you talk to product managers, they don't know the licensing structure behind it,
Right.
and I think that's a little bit like off, because you should know which market you are creating the solutions for. So that's also like, yeah, one thing that could change, hopefully. But because for like small medium businesses, and that's like large businesses in Iceland and a lot of countries, then it's very expensive. But
Yeah.
hopefully
Well
it's going
said.
to change. Yeah.
Well said.
And then train the user, and you have to teach your users how to use sensitivity labels, because it's not enough just to implement them. You have to teach them how it works. You of course can have automated sensitivity labels, but still you need to teach it. And then you have to just teach them how AI works, what to be aware of, like what happens to the data if you put in a third-party solution. Where's the data stored? How are they going to train their own models using it and such? And also that you should not look at your coworkers and what they're doing.
Even though it's fun.
And then that copal is not perfect, because you can't just go in and say like it's going to fix everything. It's like you have to be realistic, and you have to teach them how it can work for you. And then the importance of prompting, and just teach them like it's not enough to say like write me a story. You have to say what you need and for what it is, and in which format you want it, and what's the source. Like, should they create their own? Should they put it from the website, or any specific documentation? And it's like I also tell them like just try it out and start. Like, you are going to train yourself, and Copal is going to train you, because it's always suggesting new things to prompt. And Microsoft is investing a lot of money in actually teaching people how to prompt, so it's nice.
Yeah, well said.
And then also always have some humor. Just try to remember to be polite as well.
That's
And
interesting. I read an article overnight. OpenAI people are complaining that people using please and thank you in their prompts is actually costing OpenAI a lot of money just because they use those extra tokens.
oh, that's funny.
That is funny.
Oh, that's very funny. Yeah, I'm not gonna stop though.
Yeah, stop being so nice. You're costing us money.
Oh. And then prepare for the future. Like, define your business needs. It's also because you need to, like, because it is expensive, so you should just start with one thing, and you should like decide like make a proof of concept project, and also decide which AI solutions your users should use. You have to know what they should use, so that the employees should know as well. Like, if you don't know it, they're just going to use whatever. So it could be a range of different kinds. Then just make the playground safe, as I said before, and decide how you will continue to protect your data, because it's not enough just to do it one time. It's not a one-time thing. You have to continue to improve it and learn from it and secure it. And thank you, Noodle. And then ask what problems AI should solve. This is something that I also help them with, like figuring out what you're going to use it to, just to test it out and see how effective it is. And there's different guides here. And then start small and scale up. Run a pilot project with a small group of users before full deployment. And I did that here at Orgo. We had like a 30-user proof of concept group. And then, because it was very expensive, and you had to like invest it first for like a whole year, and it doesn't have Icelandic yet. So Like it's not as productive as it would be if we're just talking in English and working in English. So we had to like start small and just figure out how it could actually be useful when it comes out in Icelandic, which is probably now in the summer, this summer. And then monitor AI effectiveness and user feedback, and expand to more teams once results are positive. Yeah, so this is the thing that I'm helping them with, and then you tell them how can you as a partner help them. For example, this is the point where I always tell them like, oh, I can help you with it. Like, or they just ask like, oh, could you help us with this? Like, and just be a project manager for this. Or actually like I have different kinds now. I think I'm sold out for the next month. But for example, for a few companies, I come in there and I just help them to get going and run their proof of concept group. And I teach their IT how to use Purview and how to secure the data. And then I have another one that I'm also like running the proof of concept, but I'm also doing everything for them. And I'm also like implementing all the security policies, which is fun. So I can get to do the both of those things.
Yeah. Well, and I think you're like I am. You like to learn by doing. So I think that really helps you stay on top of all the topics by actually doing that stuff.
Yeah, it's very important.
And it's actually one of those things that doesn't have to be abstract. You know, it used to be that you couldn't demo stuff 10, 15 years ago because you couldn't afford the thing that you were trying to demo, you know, or you try to get it out for resale, NFRs, limited time stuff. You can just buy the stuff and just use it, right? No need, no need to not test your skills on it. Get in it and do it. And that's the power of that. If you want access to it within reason, right, you can actually do it. And I've been reading articles where if the technology gets better, you're starting to see niches carved out for smaller companies who can't afford a massive data center like the big three, or if you count Oracle, the big four, right, to be able to do those data things. You start to see more stuff. I think in Microsoft it's called Project Phi, where it's small language models to be able to do these same things. And we had two guests on the show, Sergey and somebody else, that really got my interest up in, Azure Foundry. So, and then I jumped into Microsoft developer course and did the 365 Copilot Studio little course. It's actually really interesting how you can build these things, right? And you may walk around and catch one of the employees building an AI agent so they don't have to come into the office. You just run it for them and do it. That'd be slick, right? Like Rod. Rod's not real. He's a bot, So
well, you're the one lacking, so I'm guessing you're the AI.
Linda with the call out. I like that. I'm sure Edward's got some sort of huge network shenanigans going on in his rat's nest of a house with network cables.
A rat's nest of a house. Even the rats have left. I'm out.
I think you just need more red network cables, Edward. The red cables go faster. We all know that.
Oh, really? That's what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, see, Brody's a genius, right? Is my video still choppy?
Oh yeah, it is. It's been like that the whole time. Just don't worry about it for now.
Sorry, I'm pulling out.
Cool.
Yeah. This started with Rod had me buy this new camera, knowing that I got this, I got this gateway computer. Doesn't work. We'll see, right?
386SX.
You think that your job is hard because 365 Copilot is a consumer product. It's just a consumer product. Unless you put in some controls, anybody can go out and add subscription to their thing at work, unless you got other controls, authorized applications. So when you do these things other than let me ask it a different way. I see that you do the education, the foundation, best practices. Are you asked to come out and do a security audit or assessment to see, tell me who's running stuff in my environment? How hard is that as easy as that? Because my biggest thing is not the technologies when you rat somebody out. Like, let me tell you who's using this stuff here right now. So how do you go about doing the security assessments? You just come in, log in, and just sort of watch, or do you use tools?
Well, I have already like set outside what you have to do and have to think about. So it's not that difficult from the Copilot readiness aspect, because everybody knows that they're starting. Nobody can blame anyone right now because there's no rules right now. So like they're not telling people you shouldn't use it. We're in the beginning really, so it's not hard to come there and make an assessment and just like they just want me to fix it really. But I also have, because I'm not just working with the Copilot and Purview, we have, like as I said, the security as meant service. So I'm also taking out their environments just like from the security aspect in whole, and then we're implementing configurations to actually make the environment and the endpoints and everything secure. So it's like, yeah, I wouldn't say this one is hard, not at all.
Okay. I just wonder, we maybe it's just to stay side. When we look at this, we always try to overcomplicate everything, right? My biggest thing is keep it simplistic. Let's just see what you have, what are you doing with it, and then ask the customer, what do you want, what do you not want them to do, and go that right. Or you just want to do an inspection, which is why I told everyone Microsoft Cloud Act, MCAS and Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps is probably one of your best Defender products right now for seeing and knowing what you don't know. And then when you mix that, I think it senses a whole lot of generative AI products, probably in the excess of 400 plus now, probably almost at 500, which shows you the proliferation of anybody going out and just standing up a model, right? And downloading. Pretty cool. Yeah.
Well, that's until we rebrand Purview Defender for Data. So.
Yeah, well, with the Defender for Cloud Ops, we're actually looking at that from the other project that we have. When I'm coming with them to them for this, I have to look at what they are already using. And for example, because I have some customers that are not having it, like they have the old CCM, sorry. And they're not enrolling their devices and are not going to for a moment. So there, for example, like I can't implement everything that I would like to. So I always have to go from that perspective. Like, what are they using? Where are they heading? So I implement security from the current state, and then and then I also give them advice going forward. Like, so when you are enrolling the devices, what should you do next? What is the next steps? So that's how I do it. And with the Defender for Cloud Apps, like there's so few using it already. It's sad, but we are going there.
I'm telling you, if you happen to need a Defender for Cloud Apps expert to fly out there to take care of some of this consulting, I happen to know one.
Awesome. Stu, right?
Who is it? No, it's not him. It can't be him.
Oh, okay.
Whatever, bro. Yeah. Shout out to everybody who realized MCAS, aka Defender for Cloud Apps, is the best one out of Defender port. Sorry, there you go. Do it that way.
I think Edward gets like $1 every time he mentions it, so that's why.
I do.
Edward, I hate to be this guy, but they're kind of ripping it apart and putting it into other things. I don't think it's going to be its own thing for much longer. I think it's just going to be cut up, drawn, and quartered.
Oh, it's not going to be its own thing. You'll see it. It's part of the SASE solution. It's part of the SASE thing. They're building into governance and everything, and it makes sense to do it that way because the competitors are doing it, but the development around it, not the hijack show, the development around, we can have another, you know what, we need to have a roadmap call that's publicly facing, talk about all the things, but neither here nor there.
Great idea. Get on it, Ray. Yeah.
Yeah,
Ray. We'll get Ray to figure that one out. Roadmap month.
Go Terry. Yeah, you got it.
Right, sorry, Linda.
Ray's going to have a day off here soon. This is you're not going to have a day off here soon. We're going to work you to the bone.
That's a good day for me. That's how I know you're not living unless you're broken.
So she is showing. I can't see your
screen.
Face.
No, this is like just a test. Oh, you can't see it. I'm gonna.
I can see it now.
Yeah, we can see it. Yeah.
Copilot.
it's-
Oh, you
control.
want to? Oh, yeah. That's good. That's good.
That's good, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is just a teaching tenant. I just put it up recently, like 2-3 weeks ago. So it's not a lot of stuff in it, but I'm going to show you. So yeah, I'll have it here. So first of all, I would like to say that when I'm coming to companies and I'm helping with this, so there's all kinds of stuff that you can show them and what you can help them with. For example, if you go to Copilot, you have here the Copilot control system, and there you have actually. No, it's a little bit too big. Sorry. So, like here, you have all the settings, and Microsoft is doing this really like easy for you. I think it's a lot easier than before. Some things are a little bit tricky though, but yeah, they are helping you as much as they can. So for example, if you go here into data security and compliance, then they give you like the links to all the things that you have to think about. So there's a lot of things that you like can just work yourself forward with. But then you also have here the setup, like through advanced deployment guides and assistance. They also have set up Microsoft 365 Copilot. And it gives you, for example, here, like quick starts, just 3 tasks to start with it, or advanced configurations. I'm not using it myself, but if people are going to, because I already have my own things that I can go through, but if people are wanting to do it themselves for their own tenants, then this is what I suggest.
Yeah, and that's recently got an update because I go in inside my tenant and within my production environment, and that looks different than it did about a month or 2 months ago. So maybe I just didn't notice, but that's cool to give you, a semi checklist of what you should be doing. And almost all of it is around 2 things: Teams and SharePoint. Do not overshare. Teams and SharePoint get you in trouble.
Exactly. But some of the things you need to have like a Teams Pro license for. So it's also one thing that you have to think about. For example, in data loss prevention policies, then if you're also using it for Teams, then you have to have sometimes Teams Pro, just so you know, license. But yeah, here you can have like optional steps, preparation or data protection, quick help, and then just press next, and then it goes with you through everything. Like, and when you click it, then you can, like, for example, this is for big companies. But in Iceland, it's the same guy, so you don't assign anyone tasks. Like you do all of it yourself, almost.
You may not, and this is not to anybody who this is your job title. You may not see a SharePoint admin exist in about 2 years. It's going to be a Copilot admin. That's right.
Yeah.
Sure.
Most likely.
Yeah.
Well, they have already what Copilot admin, but it's just not fully developed yet. But they're starting to create that role.
Yeah, and that M365 Copilot admin, part of the skill recs are probably going to be that you have history in SharePoint. That's going to be the title. The SharePoint, those are going to go away. They want M365 thing. You're starting to see it on LinkedIn and everything, whereas you don't see admin, you just see security Copilot, and then must have SharePoint skills on OneDrive. And that's the thing. That makes sense.
But this is just a checklist for you to say. It's not scanning it if you have actually done it or not. So, but this one is one thing that I do show them, and just what they need to go through. I'm not going to like linger in everything, but yeah. Well, what Microsoft is also offering now is SharePoint Advanced Management add-on, and they said that it should be free with each Copilot license. I haven't seen it yet been available, but it was supposed to be like finished rolling out in March, I think. So I just like don't take my word on it, but it should be there. I haven't seen it yet though.
We're
But
gonna hold you
otherwise,
to that, Linda. It's going to be
Mhm.
there.
Yeah.
Linda, the Icelandic cloud queen, said so.
exactly. But they
So-
also say like you have to have a SharePoint Advanced Management license for each user to be compliant.
Yeah.
So I think it's a little bit off. Like I don't know exactly where they're going with this. Like so, yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Let's just say that we all are having add-on for everyone. Let's just say that we're all compliant in each company. But those who are going to work with it has to have the license, and it's actually really nice. You have here Advanced Management Pro, and you can of course have a trial, I think, for a month or so. But it does give you like, for example, that you can figure out. Can show here. Sorry. Sorry, I was a little bit.
You're good. No rush.
Just
Mhm.
like Microsoft to move things all over the place.
God, Microsoft.
Yeah. Well, no, sorry, it's over here in reports. Yeah. So they have all kinds of reports. For example, this one that you have to have the SharePoint Advanced Management for. There you can figure out, identify potential oversharing by monitoring sites where users create new sharing links in SharePoint. And there you can have all kinds of reports showing you in the last 28 days, I think, which links or data was shared that is like has a sensitivity label on it. And also content shared with everyone except external users. So there you can also just say, for example, just for private Teams sites, can make a report for that. Then you can identify which one has been like overshared. And these are all kinds of things that I help people with figuring out, like, because first I come to the customers and I figure out where is your data and help them map that up. And then I map out like which data do you need to protect. And then I go also over the sharings and all the default settings that it should change. For example, if you go here in the admin center and go into settings and org settings, here sharing. There, for example, let users add new guests to the organizations. You can choose that one, but here you can change the external share settings for SharePoint. And there, like users can share with, this is the default. And it's with anyone default. So we would like to change it for new and existing guests. But you can also do it from the SharePoint admin center, just so you know.
Yeah, this
And
is
then-
an important one. This is part of a set of really important settings that you're highlighting here to prevent people from just being way too promiscuous, right? Sharing to external users, allowing external users to join. These are important these are important settings that you're covering here.
But it's here in the policies sharing, and then you just change it to here, new and existing guests. And here in more external share settings, allow guests to share items they don't own. Yeah, I usually just take that off because in Iceland, my experience, we don't see why you should be able to do that. We would like to limit what guests can do in your environment. For example, like adding third-party apps to Teams as a guest that was default on, but I think they have changed it. And then also here, choose the permission that's selected by default by sharing links. Sometimes they like to have it as view instead of edit, and then you just have to manually change it when you're sharing. And also here, like it is anyone with a link. choose the type of link that's selected by default when users share files and folders in SharePoint or OneDrive. Sometimes it's anyone with a link is the default one, so you have to change it to only people in your organizations.
That's a very
I think-
important one. Very
I
important
think
one.
it actually changes when you go from the other one. But yeah, so I think default is anyone with a link, so you have to change that one. And then just save it. That's one of the things that I do, but also there's one thing that's actually interesting. I can see if I'm too nervous. Okay. Here
You're doing
it
great.
is. Thank you. Here it is. This is quite new-ish. Microsoft 365 Copilot self-service trials and purchases. That's default on, that you can allow your employees to buy it themselves. And that's recently changed. So I changed it to do not allow until we're ready, at least. Like the environment is secure and ready.
Yeah, I advise somebody to do that. A friend of mine whose company, I said, you need to make sure you handle that, because the ability to go buy consumer brand 365 components and then just buy the $20 a month or whatever month Copilot license, right? Now you're just giving that user super search power across your organization using a consumer license inside your org. And actually, that's one of the things that Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps can detect when someone's using non-subscription based M365 products that enhance and add on top of there. So I've seen that. That is a good thing to do, because people will just go out and buy it, and now it's in your organization. Now you got to root it out. But this has been super interesting to understand how AI now is permeating across everything. Rod and I work at it all the time. So, well, all of us are security people. So we're starting to see it really come.
Poor Brody. Yeah.
What's AI? I've never worked on it before.
Yeah,
Well, you do hockey. That's it.
yeah, he does.
Yeah, that's it. They pay me to do hockey here at Microsoft. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, Linda, this has been super interesting. Our apologies, we went way over. We're just,
Sorry.
we're eating up all of your time. I do not know the time difference over in Iceland right now, but we really thank you for bringing this on. If you ever want to get, us do a live show, we'll all fly over there and raise dollar.
Yes,
We're ready to look up
that'd be awesome.
more dollars.
Yeah.
So thanks, everyone. Thank you, Linda, for having this on. For everybody that's using Copilot, the M365 Copilot, probably go take a really good closer look at this and see exactly, because this is Microsoft Dell on steroids. It can allow people to come in and just scrape your environment if you're not being careful about how it goes, and especially if you see the hooks inside OneDrive and SharePoint. That made me raise my eyebrows. Like, wait a minute, and I don't have eyebrows. But
David brings up a really good point, and I think we could summarize this episode by just saying, don't accept the defaults.
Don't accept the defaults. That's the theme for the next show. Don't accept the defaults. And there we go.
Exactly.
Everyone, this is our third session in Tech Heavy Month, which is the month of April 2025. And we like to thank Linda all the way from Iceland, the Icelandic cloud queen, who did not ask me to pronounce her last name. I'm still grateful for that. I could use Copilot to say pronounce this for me. So thank you so much for taking time out to come on and show us everything. If you have any links that you'd like us to share outside of your LinkedIn, get it to Rod. We'll get it posted. And next week, we're back at it, everyone. Same time, same channel. We're going to have Rick Foltz on, who's going to talk about Security Copilot and I believe some advanced security engineering or something like that. I don't remember. We'll figure it out when we get there. So, everyone, thanks so much. Thanks for taking the time out. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, Linda.
Take care.
Thank you for having me.